Renewing Your Mind by Dr. Neil T. Anderson. Session 2, Living Under Grace. Lesson 4, Led by the Spirit. Read Exodus chapter 13, verses 17 through 22. The key point: the sheep of God's pasture know the voice of the Good Shepherd and follow him. Key verse, Romans 8:14. Those who are led by the Spirit of God are the children of God. Even in the wilderness, God led his people and provided for their needs. He guided them with a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Exodus 13, verse 20 through 22. And he never deserted them. His guidance was unfailing, constant, and loving. He brought his people out like a flock. He led them like sheep through the wilderness. Psalm 78, verse 52. We are his sheep. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. Psalm 100, verse 3. And Jesus is the good shepherd. John 10, verse 14. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. John 10:3. In Scripture, God's children are often referred to as sheep. For the most part, this is a comforting notion, but it also conveys our helplessness. Sheep are not carnivorous like wolves. They sacrificially give their wool while they are living, and their meat when they die. There is a lot of good to be said for sheep, but they are not the smartest animals on the farm. When left alone in lush green pastures, sheep will eat themselves to death. Perhaps that's why David said, "The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures." Psalm 23, 1 through 2. In our Western world, we keep our sheep moving in green pastures by chasing them from behind. But that is not the way shepherds lead their sheep in Israel. Even to this day, the shepherd will let the sheep graze until they are full or in need of greener pastures. The shepherd will then stand up, say something, and start to walk away. The sheep will look up and follow the shepherd. That is why Jesus says, "My sheep listen to my voice. I know them, and they follow me." John 10:27. Paul writes, "Those who are led by the Spirit of God are the children of God." Romans 8:14. Being led by the Spirit implies that we are not being pushed. So if someone asks you to make a hasty decision without prayerful reflection, the answer should be no. God doesn't lead that way. God's guidance may come suddenly, but never to the spiritually unprepared. Pentecost was sudden, but it was preceded by many days of prayer. Acts 1:14. Being led by the Spirit also means that we are not being lured away in some clandestine manner. God does everything in the light, but Satan is the prince of darkness. In the same epistle which Paul tells us we are seated with Christ in the heavenlies, the spiritual realm, we are also told that we will have to stand firm against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Ephesians 6:12. To guard against deception, we must put on the armor of God, and we start with the belt of truth. The only way to recognize the counterfeit is to know the truth. John wrote, "We know that we are children of God and that the whole world is under the control of the evil one. We also know that the Son of God has come and has given us understanding, so that we may know him who is true." 1 John 5, verse 19 and 20. Jesus said, "I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. I lay down my life for the sheep." John 10, verse 14 and 15. Question 1. What lessons can we learn from the metaphor that we are sheep of his pasture? Question 2. How did shepherds in Jesus' day lead their sheep? What can we learn from that? Question 3. Why must we put on the armor of God? Question 4. How can you detect counterfeit guidance? Question 5. How can you get to know the voice of God?